Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? We got to blame somebody, right? I mean, every time you blame someone, it's like, no, well, not really. Zach, had this going or he had that going. Not really. Okay, offensive line because of the injuries. Well, and then somebody else, of course, is going to say, well, that's JD's fault for not stacking the offensive line. Well, it's like, what is he supposed to have 10 starting level offensive linemen? And then it becomes, well, the receivers are dropping balls. Well, this is happening, that's happening. I mean, come on. We all know that we've stunk for 3 years. We all know that. And we all know who the starting quarterback has been. And we all know what the offense has done when he's not the starting quarterback. So can we ignore that? I don't know. We're going to talk about all that kind of stuff when we get back. And I'm sure Nick's will have his opinion. But I'm not feeling it right now, guys. I'm not thinking this team is in the right place right now. But I don't know. We'll talk soon.
And now, welcome to Pride and Chaos.
Welcome to the darkest year of our adventures. Oh, yeah!
And now, give it up for Jeremy and Nick.
Now you scared me.
And as usual, Nick is wrong.
Why are you the way that you are? God, I can't stand you.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Whoa, that was cool.
And we are here. The Pride and Chaos Show is back.
No introduction? I was waiting for the big introduction.
I was about to say, you cut me off. I was about to say, please welcome my co-host, proud New York Jets fan. He's got 9 toes. Better than 8. Nick Shine.
And you just put the kibosh on me, huh? What's up, everybody? How we doing? Because now I got to worry about if I go down to 8 toes, I'm coming at you first. What's up, everyone? I hope everyone's doing all right. I hope everyone has backed away from the ledge. I hope that everyone is safe. Are we going to go right into it, or do we want to recap your journey and your weekend out here? Do we want to start with the fun, and then we'll get into the misery later?
Let me just say hello to some people. I feel like I've been gone a long time. So, Twisted, what's going on, buddy? We met Twisted. He was just as I imagined him in my head. You know what I mean? The kind of guy that can chop some wood outside and get the wood and fire going. And, and if you want to fry a turkey instead of bake it in the oven, he seems like the kind of guy that can make that big, deep frying turkey fryer work. That's my man.
That was great. I brought him over to you, and I was like, I know you might not recognize his face, but you might recognize him from his emails. And you froze for a second. You go, Twisted.
We got Harlan here.
Gotta be Twisted.
We got Harlan here. That's right. We got they were talking a lot before. Wild Wave is in the house. What's going on, Wild Wave? Good to see you. It's good to see Knobcraft. I'm sure you're gonna have a lot to say. Eric Craig and from Texas. Good to see you. Bill. Oh, for a second I saw the word Billy and I thought it was the Billy. But no, that's not fair. This is the Billy. Billy. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. See anybody else I've missed out? Mess is in the house. Wild Wave. If I didn't highlight Wild Wave. I got to pay more love. Give Wild Wave more love. And we got the Mess in the house. One of my OG originals in the house. Billy says the Jets will bounce back. I don't think Knobcraft will agree. GVH is here. So that's good. I ain't talking no pizza. Not today. We got too much to talk about today. New York Jets. What's going on? New York Jets. Is that tied? Yeah, I'm so freaking blind. Tails, right? Table, tied? Tied. What's going up, New York Jets side? It's Mike. I'm blind. I'm freaking blind. Fear is prim. And speaking of blind, we're going to tell you how blind I am. and how it affects my life and how it affected our life just 2 days ago. Hey Yeti, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Good to see you here. So I got most. I think I think I got most people. I think anybody. Those are the people in the chat. For those of you who are watching that are not in the chat, I'm glad you're out there. Stay out there. We got a great show tonight. We're going to talk about obviously the Jets offense will be the primary thing we're talking about, because right now, as the way things stands, if we want to make the playoffs, if we're going to be a team at all or be serious at all, obviously we can't function or we can't move on with the way things are right now. And I will now turn it over to Nick, who's waiting very patiently.
What's up, everybody? For those of you that we did meet the other day at the game, Twisted, and just what a great event that Talking Jets put on with Matt, Ryan, Green Bean. It was a really, really good event. It was fun. There was a lot of Chargers fans because the Tailgate Joe, and that contingency comes from out of town. They don't want to bring grills and stuff, so they want to just pay to party, and it was a good party. I thought it was calm. It was a little. I'm always hesitant. My tailgate spot. I'm always hesitant to go to be a part of the big groups, like the music and the young people being drunk and being a shit show. But I thought it went over really well. The boy had fun. Thank you again, everybody, for making that happen last week for us. Well, let's get in. Go ahead. Bring everyone up on your weekend. Tell them what you did, whatever you want to talk about, and then we'll discuss after the game, which is that literally. I'm glad that was the last thing that happened, because that was the main event. That was chaos at its finest. That was complete chaos. It was literally, if we could have had body cams on both of us to shoot a promo for our show, it was the pride, the logical one, trying to walk you through certain steps, and you just being chaotic and ended up basically in like Manhasset. I'm like, no, you went too far. Turn around.
So here's the thing. Trip got off to a great start. It's Friday night. I go into the airport. I'm there early. I like to be there early. I go in. The flight's delayed anyway, so I go into this bar in the airport, Bar Grill. I sit at the bar, get myself a drink, trying not to eat because I know I'm flying on the red eye, and when I land, there's going to be all kinds of food planned. We'll get into that. And right away, I meet people at the bar originally from New York. They all live in California, but they're all New Yorkers going back to New York. I'm wearing my Wayne Corbett jersey, so they're all into it. They're all saying, "You're going back for the Jet game," and gets off to just this great start where everything is good, everything is thumbs up. Flight to New York, so I knew it would happen. That's why I wore my Jets jersey. I knew there'd be people that were into it. And then we get onto the plane, we land. Dom C picks me up at the airport. After I get to first, it took him a while. He was delayed, so I got to go to a Dunkin', get myself some coffee, sending pictures to Nick. That was how I told him I was there. I sent myself a picture of myself holding a cup of Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I can't hear you, bro. I can't hear you. You're muted, bro. I can't hear a word you're saying. Can you guys hear Nick? Is it me? Am I frozen?
Myself. I'm sorry. I opened something.
Okay.
We talked when he had the coffee, and I usually love talking to this guy. It was one of the biggest regrets I've ever had in my life, because I'm waking up on Saturday morning. I didn't even wipe my eyes yet. And I get, there's people here. They're going to kidnap me. 1,000 times faster than he's ever spoken before. And I was like, dude, I just woke up. What the fuck? He goes, I had Dunkin'. I go, what, do you not ever have Dunkin'? I'm like, what did you ask for? I couldn't keep up with it. I was like, all right, man, good luck today with Dom and everything. I'll talk to you. I got to wake up before I deal with something on this level.
They're going to kidnap me. I remember that. They're going to kidnap
me. They're going to kidnap me. I just can't get it. There's a guy walking around just yelling, taxi. I can't hop in a random taxi. I need an Uber. I need something that's going to be tracked. You know what's going on in the world right now? I'm Jewish. They're going to kidnap me. Who knows where I'll end up?
Anyway, Dom C gets me, and we drive into New Jersey, and we go to Star Tavern Pizza, one of the famous thin crust Jersey bar pie places. and we had a great time. We ordered 2 pies, 1 cheese, 1 meat and pepperoni or whatever. So we go there, we eat a bunch of that. Then we go over, and Green Bean says it wants Green Bean's driving up from DC or from Virginia. He wants he wants his son to try an Italian hot dog because Green Bean lived in that area. So for him, it's big part of his like past life. So we all meet in the parking lot, and who shows up? Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7, who decided to pop in on us also because he found that Green Bean was going, and he lives like an hour away, never tried it. So now it's me, Ryan, Green Bean, Dom C, and Dom C's son. And Green Bean's son, and we're eating Italian hot dogs. So that was an amazing thing. For those of you who don't know, it's like a freaking crazy giant Italian pita bread stuffed with hot dog and sauteed onions and peppers and home fried potatoes and the hot dog and mustard and ketchup. And it was pretty freaking amazing. So we had a great first day. Everything's good. And then, Sunday, me and Green Bean watched football together, ate a lot of Italian food. Fast forward to the tailgate. Like Nick said, it was great. We saw Twisted. We saw a bunch of other people too. Harry W was there. And a bunch of people who tell me I didn't recognize their names. Like, oh, I'm Keith. And I'm like, well, what's your screen name? And it's like, well, you wouldn't know me. I don't chat. So for those of you listening that are never in the chat, I think we neglect those people sometimes. We really appreciate you guys out there. I got to meet. So I met great people. Just the most amazing people. They were saying amazing things to be about the show. Torres, remember you met Torres, right? That kid from Jersey.
Yeah,
I forgot what his first name is.
For a while.
He was awesome. He was awesome. People like that, they were great. We had a great time, and then we went into the freaking game. And obviously, everybody knows what happened there. We got to see the shit show that they call the New York Jets. The beginning was great. The intros were great. As soon as the game started, everything went downhill. And then when I left, here was the thing. Should I explain later? I think it's better if I explain later when you say what I did. Why let's just say this after the game. Instead of going
I'm ready to share the screen. I'm ready to share the screen.
Instead of leaving the stadium, when I left the stadium, I was leaving with Green Bean. I drove in with Green Bean, so I'm supposed to go to J9. That's the parking space. Now we didn't stay in J9. We parked the car in J9 and we walked to the Joe's tailgate in E26. So I'm looking the whole time. The whole time that I'm in the parking lot, I'm looking, trying to gauge where we're going and what going backwards means. So anyway, I asked Green Bean while we're walking, where we parked, and he looked at me, got all mad. He goes, "I told you, man, J9, man. That's how you get lost in a parking lot, man. You don't pay attention." So
you can see my mouse right now, right?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
all right.
Instead
so this
of going
is where
this
is the tailgate.
Let me just tell them, instead of going back to Green Bean's car, I go back with Dom to his car, and then he drove me part of the way to get to Green Bean's car, and that threw me all off. And I'll let Nick take over from here, how he experienced his side of it, and later I'll tell them why I went to Dom's car.
So if you could see the mouse swirling around, this is where the tailgate was. E26 tailgate Joe's party. Now here,
you might be able to zoom in if you make your screen bigger. Like if you
I can, but I want to show the landscape of this road here. Dom could not cross, so he had to drop Jeremy off somewhere along this road, and he told Jeremy, walk out to the left to the Giants practice facility. Oh, you're trying to flip off. So if you see my mouse swirling right here, that's J9. Right underneath that pole is where Green Bean was parked, okay? Egghead gets dropped off here. Short little walk across F, straight out to J9. I get a call 20 minutes later. I'm at the end of G, almost to L, and I see a bright white sign that says Meadowlands. I'm like, what the hell? Now, meanwhile, I'm out in lot K, waiting to get my cooler and my book bag out of my buddy's car. K's out here right next to the Giants practice facility. I'm like, well, look for the big Quest Diagnostics building. He's like, I can't see it. I'm like, what do you mean you can't see it? I'm like, it's large, it's white, it's lit up. He was so far out in L, these trees and marsh were blocking his view. The white sign that he was talking about is the Meadowlands racetrack. I finally figured it out after we hung up. I'm like, oh my God, he's all the way over there, almost by lot M. So I explained to him, get to the main road. Take the service road. If you get to the service road and L is at your back, make a left and just stay on that road. I'll meet you. When you get almost to the end of Route 3, I'll be right there waiting for you. 20 minutes goes by. I've called him. Now I'm at J9. I'm at Green Bean's spot. I drop Nick's off in the car, and I go to me and Green Bean are both trying to call him. Nothing. I finally say, all right, let me get out of the car. I go, let me go see if I can find them, because I told them to stay on that road. So here we go. Look at this. Look at me technologically advancing. Right here, right where this white truck is where we are, okay? Now, I'm out on the curb right here by the porta potties waiting to see him. And I get a phone call. Finally, he returns a call, right?
I literally took a right turn and veered off where you were waiting. I was walking right towards Nick, coming from the top of the screen, and I took a sharp left because I saw a J sign and started to look for Green Bean's car right before I got to Nick, and ended up walking in a giant circle around that part of the lot.
So now
I ended up
I get a
past you.
phone call. I get a phone call from an absolutely exhausted, panicked, slightly sugar rushed, which we will explain, Jeremy. Now, we all know Jeremy can be nutty. We all know Jeremy can be eccentric at times. I heard pure panic and almost fear in this man's voice, because he knows Green Bean doesn't like the wait, and there was a good chance that Green Bean was going to pull off without him. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to two guys, and I hear, what the fuck, dude? I find J3. I find J16. I can find every J but 9. And I take my phone away from my ear because I can hear him screaming. I turn around. You fucking idiot. You found me. He was 10 feet behind me, and then he didn't even know it.
I looked up. He goes, and the way he did it, was so funny. It's not like he came up to me. He just walked past me, goes, I'm right here, asshole, and walks past me towards Green Bean's car, saying, come on. And I follow him back to Green Bean's car. And I'm like, how did that happen? How did that just happen?
He was 35 feet from J9. Couldn't see it. The glasses are for show. They're a prop. They do nothing. Now, the best part of all of this, as me and my son are leaving the stadium, we were on the upper deck, and Dom's seats are down low. I call him and I say, hey, we're coming down. Why don't we meet right outside by the 50-yard line? I'll walk you out to the car. That way you don't get lost. I tried to prevent all of this, being a good friend, being a good guy, being a caring person. I get rejected. And when I heard it on the phone, I couldn't believe what I heard. And I asked him yesterday morning if this is really what I heard. Go ahead, Jeremy. Tell them why you went on this 7-mile hike. You were like Forrest Gump going across the parking lot because you had to get the Dom's car completely out of the way and not worth it. For what?
When we were tailgating, I left in his car. It was about still 80% full. One of those 20-ounce bottles of Coke. You see, what happened was I was really thirsty because in like the middle of the third quarter, I had to go to the bathroom. So I get up, and we're not far from like the little exit to the bathroom. You know, we're pretty close. You know, like it's real easy. And I say, okay, hey guys, I'm going to the bathroom, right? And right as I get up, Dom C yells out, get me a Coke. He goes, can you get me a Coke? So I'm like, of course I'll get you a Coke, you know, like, so I'm like, all right, you got it. And I start walking. I'm a little annoyed because I wanted to run to the bathroom and get back to the game, but okay, I'll get a Coke. And then he says, oh, and he's yelling something at me, and I turn, and his son is behind me. His 10-year-old son is standing next to me. And I hear Dom say, take him. He has to go to the bathroom. So now he's entrusting me.
Which, thank God, wasn't in California, because you would have broken like 4 restraining order laws that you have. But anyway, go ahead.
So now he's entrusting me with the life of his son in a crowded freaking Jets game, right? So now I'm all nervous because I'm not responsible for just me. I got to watch this kid. So we're walking towards the bathroom. I'm keep checking. Are you with me? You with me? You with me? Just look. Keep your eye on my egghead. You know, I'm the bald guy, right? So then we walk the bathroom, go into the bathroom. Everything works out fine. I see him at the end. And then I said the dumbest thing because I know nothing about kids and age and everything, even though I worked as an assistant principal. I said, I have to get your father a Coke. Do you want to come with me or do you want to go back to your seats? And he looked at me and he goes, stay with you.
Yeah, he was going to send the 10-year-old off to find his own seat.
I said, oh, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And so I go up and I swear to God, you know how sometimes they hire people like, the greeters at Walmart. I don't want to say anything inappropriate. People who work at Walmart. Well, that's who I got to help me behind the counter when I went up for my Coke. Okay. It was
Somebody just going through the motions.
It was somebody with special needs. Right. So I say,
what?
I say to the guy, can I have a Coke? And he turns around, he looks at me, gives me an angry look. He turns around and he comes back with a long pretzel, like the Twister long pretzels. And he hands me the pretzel. And being the fucking pussy that I am, instead of saying I didn't order a pretzel, I wanted a Coke, I just looked at Dom's son. I said, you want a pretzel? And he goes, no. I said, oh, make me eat the pretzel. Okay. So now I'm holding the pretzel. I say to the guy, he starts ringing it up. No. Can I have a Coke also? Right? I have to get the Coke. 5 minutes later, he comes back with the Coke. I mean, it took the guy an hour to pull the cup off the stack. It took him like everything was. Dom's son is happily watching the little TV watch of the game. I'm asking him what's going on. So finally, this guy gets everything together, charges me the money. I'm like, yeah. I gotta go. He wants me to wait for a receipt. No, fuck you. So like we get back to the seat, and I give Dom the Coke, and I realize I'm going to eat this pretzel, and it's the driest, biggest, saltiest thing So I was dying of thirst when I was done with that pretzel. Dying of thirst. And then the game ended. A little while later, as I'm thirsty, that's why all I could think about was that bottle of Coke. And it was cold out, so I knew it would stay cold. All I could think about was that 80% filled bottle of Coke sitting in Dom's car. I said, no, I'll come with you, and I'll grab the Coke, and then I'll go. And Dom's like, well, I'll ride you as long as I can. Because get in the car.
That's what she said.
I'll take you as far as I can take you.
Way to go, Dom. Get yours.
So the whole thing just went to shit. But I made the wrong strategy. I said at the end of the game, just remember the Verizon exit and walk the opposite way. Like you're facing it, go left. But that's not where the car was. The car wasn't due left from the exit. It was out. It was out away from the stadium and a little to the left. So, that's where I went wrong. So I was very lost, and I was getting frustrated. Because you kept saying, walk along the cars. And I finally gave up and said, I see Jay. I'm not gonna listen to him. I'm gonna just find J9. And I swear to God, where you are, I must have been 10 steps away from finding you so much faster. And I gave up and broke in and lost you. And then, so the whole thing was just a shit show. Oh, and by the way, while I was walking across one of the lines of cars that were going out of the stadium, somebody beeped their horn and goes, chaos. And it's one of our listeners. It's like two guys that were hanging out at the party that know me from Green Beans channel. And they were like, chaos, what the fuck are you doing here? Because there was no people. There was just cars lined up going on to Route 3 or whatever, the road to Route 3. And I'm cutting in front of people's cars. And they were like, I heard one of them in the car go, is that chaos? That must have been the weirdest thing for them. 50, 60,000 people. They're driving out of the stadium, and suddenly Jets Chaos runs in front of their car. Crazy,
all of this
crazy.
For a warm, half-drinking Coca-Cola that, as you were exiting the stadium, you could have bought from 20 different vendors and got a bottle of water, something refreshing. But you chose to get something that'll dehydrate you and dry out your mouth even more.
Absolutely not. And I didn't even tell my wife I left that. It was a broken jacket because I got so fat. But I left my jacket by my seat. but in it were Nike gloves, my winter little gloves. I left it. I realized it like by the entrance, by the exit. And Dom was like, I lied to Dom. I said, "Oh, there's nothing in there. Don't worry." Because I was afraid he was going to make me go back.
So you left your jacket there?
I just left it there. Those ladies sitting next to me, like the couple next to me, the lady next to me must have been felt bad because she was like all nice to me and everything. And like, so she must have been like, he left his jacket. So I also lost the jacket and Nike gloves. The jacket I was going to trash anyway. I don't even know I was going to bring it back to California because it doesn't zip or anything like that. And it doesn't even fit me. But like the gloves,
Oh,
man,
it zips skinnier people, not just you.
huh?
It'll zip on a skinnier person, not just you.
Snowball, that was you? That was Snowball in the car.
No, was it? He
Yeah,
would
now
have
that
said
I
it was
think
him,
about it.
right?
Now that I think about it, it was. Now that I think about it, it was
Why
Snowball.
was it? He was at the tailgate?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't meet him. Damn it.
I think you did meet him and you just didn't know he was Snowball. Like me, I forgot because everybody just assumes I remember, but
Snowball, did
like
we meet?
now
I
that is
wasn't drinking.
crazy.
I don't drink, so I remembered everyone I came in touch with. He didn't like say, "Hey, it's me, Snowball." He might have just introduced himself by his name.
The only thing that could have been
Or is he
more
fucking with us? Is he fucking with us, or is he really there?
it definitely could have been him. I can't say for sure, but like now that I think about it, it was somebody very familiar to me. It was somebody I spent a lot of time at that tailgate, and I think I knew them from the opener too. And I met Snowball last year at the Ravens thing, at the Coney Island thing or something.
Okay.
So, or the Ravens game. So so it makes sense to me that it was I think it was Snowball. Beard, he has like a slight beard. The Jets hat.
Who was the guy with the
I
bald
just
head?
described everybody. I just described everybody. So.
Who was the guy with the bald head and the red long sleeve shirt on with like a white vest? And him and his wife, they were fiancé last year at Coney Island, but now they're married.
Yeah, I don't know his screen name, but I hung out with him in Coney Island, so I remembered him. I remember him because his wife,
that was like one of the first people
Hawaiian.
that you introduced me to.
Yeah,
You were Dom. I think it was you.
I forgot what his screen name is, but of course I'm not going to forget. A beautiful wife. How could I? You can't forget a guy. And I said that to him. I go, it's like nobody's ever going to forget you with her on your side. He's smiling. He's so proud of it too. He's like this Russian guy. He's like, I know.
Yeah.
I have beautiful wife.
Good for him. Yeah, I remember. I was like, "Oh, you went on the roller coaster with my son last year at Coney Island." He's like, "Yeah." So real quick, funny story with me. Green Bean and Jeremy, they stay in Staten Island, and I run into some people. I talk some trash to. I saw 2 Chargers fans, and I talk trash to them. And I was like, "Oh, enjoy your meal. It's the last highlight of your day." Now, me and my son at our tailgate. We're at our tailgate, and I get a golf cart to bring us from K all the way over to E. And I'm calling Dom as I'm on my way over there. And I'm like, I go, "Look for the golf cart, dude. Where are you?" He's like, all right. I see you. I get out of the golf cart. Me and Nick hop off the golf cart, and the 2 guys in the Chargers jerseys that I talk shit to at a store in Woodbridge were the first 2 Chargers fans I see. And they look at me, and I look at them, and they're like, "We were just talking about you." I was like, "I don't want to talk to you guys. Get the hell away from me." So one other cool story. I'm sitting there. I left my cigar torch at Lot K because I knew I couldn't bring it in the stadium. And I didn't want to have to go to Dom's car after the game like some other idiots and cause chaos for everyone else. So I left it there. Dom doesn't have a lighter. The 2 of us got cigars, and we're looking at each other. And he was like, "Oh, how about that guy?" I'm like, "I'm on it." I go over, cool old guy. I go, "Excuse me, sir. Like, do you happen to have a torch or a lighter on you?" "Yeah, no problem." Gives it to me. He's got the hole punch on it. He's like, "It's a 3 thing." I light it. Dom lights his. Talking to the guy and making small talk now. I just didn't want to be a jerk and just run away after he does me a favor. Jake Asman's dad. So I'm sitting there talking to Jake Asman's dad for a bit, and then Jake comes over and I had a little conversation with him. And that was pretty cool. His dad's a real cool, old laid back guy, man. It was fantastic talking to him.
He was the character. I met him the same way. He was just standing next to me, and I was telling somebody, I was like, "That's Jake Asman." And I was like, "He's awesome. He's amazing. Yeah, that's the man right there." And this guy in a cigar sitting next to me going, yeah, he's pretty good, but he needs to work on this and that. And I knew right away. I go, you're his dad, aren't you? He goes, yeah. And he's smoking his cigar and everything. And yeah, that was cool meeting Jake. Jake was so nice too, because I didn't know. I was like, I went up to him like I'm about to say, I'm Jets Chaos. I went on your show a couple of times, like we bumped, we talk on Twitter. And right away when he turned to me, he was like, the legend, the myth, Chaos. And he gives me a big hug. And he's like, I watch those reaction shows, he said, with you and Green Bean. He goes, I'm very aware of who you are, man. And that was cool, hanging out with Asman and talking and stuff. And he was very cool. It was very fun to get to hang out with him, for sure. Sith Happens is here. He came. We the People came while we were talking. Some other guys.
How do you know that? That's a fact? You know the We the People came while we were talking?
No, that's what she said.
Thank you.
But yeah. A bunch of people while we were talking have joined the chat. So what's up, guys? It's good to see you. I see a lot of people having fun with me in the crowd. It looks like Dom said, what? He must have heard me say that I almost sent his son back alone.
He did. I had it up on the screen for a bit, but I forgot you can't see. Sith Happens had a great comment earlier when we were telling the story. Sith had a comment and it said, this story is better than the game recap. Something to that extent. That's why we decided to open with this. We wanted to open with something good and entertaining and not have it be 2 hours of anger and sadness and venting. So we're like, let's open up with the story of the weekend and the day of the game. And then we'll let everybody vent and get into it.
That sucks. I can't believe he's in Staten Island. And you know what, Weed? You were in Staten Island, and I was free.
I don't know Keansburg.
I don't know if he was around, but like there was so much hours of the time I was with my friend, like that I was there, just stuck at my friend's house. Where if Weed was willing to, if he wanted to, he could have swung by, grabbed me. We could have went out and gotten, a drink or something. Like I had time. That's what sucks. I had time. So. But anyway, let's talk about the game. I mean, look, I don't know from where I was sitting. I want to say this. I'm sitting next to two freaking like analysts, right? I mean, I'm sitting next to Dom C and Dylan Turnanen, So I'm sitting at two guys who know what the hell they're talking about, right? Dylan's yelling out everything before it happens as they're rolling up. Like he's going, he's like, 5 cents, nobody in the backfield was Zach. What the fuck? He's cursing. Dom is pointing to people. Open. Like Lazard open. Wilson open. Conklin open.
Don't throw it to Lazard.
Right. So he's yelling at people. He's yelling out who's open. And Zach is just sitting there not throwing the ball. And I'm looking, trying to keep up with Dom, who's pointing out, and I see it. Like he's like 82 open. And I look up and I see Gibson coming across wide open. And the ball never gets there. So it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. When you see it live, you could see it. This kid holds on to the ball too long. But the other thing that I noticed was, and they must have put this in him, and I blame this on the coaching, they went way too far to the other extreme. Like, I understand they want him to stay in the pocket more and not run backwards 30 yards, but they turned him into Joe Flacco. I mean, he just stands there until they kill him. It's like, run. He doesn't freaking run. So they went too far, man. Let him be Zach Wilson. They stopped. They're trying to force him to be something, and it's not working. So it was very frustrating to watch live. It was very frustrating to be down 14-0 and know you lost the game unless I literally said the only way we win this game is 15-14 because I knew we weren't scoring a touchdown already. I felt it. I said, this feels like every Jet game I've ever been to where the offense, where I just feel it. We're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah. How do I summarize this?
What were you doing?
I want to say this. I want to preface it with this. Anybody who is taking the lazy take and just putting all of this on Zach, though, I can't get on board with. And here's why.
Alan Lazard.
I'm not saying you are. No. I'm just speaking in general. I'm not coming at you with that.
Right. No, I got you.
We're on our 5th right tackle, who I could have done a better job than Billy Turner did on Monday night.
Oh, was that a bad
We're on our
decision to put
fourth.
the right tackle? What a
We're on our
bad
4th
decision.
right guard. Right. We had AVT. Then we had Titman. Then we
Why was
had
he in there?
Schweitzer.
Can you
Then
tell
we
me why?
had Newman. So we're on our 5th right guard now with
Why was
Mitchell.
he in there?
6th.
Why was he in there? Because Mitchell was at right guard, right?
They put Mitchell at guard. So actually, we're
Yeah.
on our 6th right guard, right? We
Yeah.
started with AVT. Then we went to Titman. Then we went to Schweitzer. Then we went to Newman. Then we went to Turner. And now Mitchell. That's our 6th right guard. It's our 5th right tackle. How the hell do you expect to block? All right. We had some issues there. Okay. Lazard, he's a suicide bomber. He is just single-handedly trying to kill the offense with the Philadelphia game. The block with Garrett Wilson almost cost us, right? We were inside the 10. But now we're back at midfield because of a stupid block in the back. The drops have been horrible. Procedural penalties. You don't know how to line up. What the fuck is that? Like, you've been in this system. You've had this coach. You should be the one guy knowing how to line up. We got Billy Turner and Mitchell getting thrown in different positions, and then they know what they're doing in the system, and you don't. So it's asinine, the level that Lazard is playing at right now. Now, I'm going to get into the play calling as well. Stop bringing in 3 tight ends to run the ball. It's hard enough for us to run the ball with Zach at quarterback because there's no threat downfield. Stop backing ourselves into a corner and loading up to run. It's not how it works. You want to spread the defense out, take those linebackers and cornerbacks out, and then run it where you might have an advantage, and that's where Brees can break one. Stop loading everybody in tight and trying to run through that formation. Stop on 3rd and 4, going 5 wide receivers and not having a threat of the run. Not having someone in the backfield to pick up a free rusher. Put Borden in the backfield and let him hit the first guy that comes through and take their soul. Do something to create the favor in your corner. Stop just thinking you can put Zach out there on an island and he's going to pick apart a defense and a spread. It's not the type of guy he is. He's athletic. Can we get some designed rollouts? Can we get some bootlegs? Can we get some movement out of the pocket that isn't fucking existent with this patchwork line with all the injuries that we've had? It's frustrating. Yes, Zach has flaws. Please don't think I'm not saying that. But 33 out of 49, Garrett Wilson kills a drive early when it's 7-0 and fumbles, or it was 14, I think, at that point. Garrett fumbles as we get into their territory. So that kills the whole momentum. It's not just Zach. This is a collective clusterfuck right now. And I put out a short yesterday saying, was Sean Payton right? Coincidence that 2 different offenses, 2 different quarterbacks, 2 years in a row, and your offense is near the bottom of the league. Denver had an elite defense last year. Couldn't win games because their offense couldn't do shit. The New York Jets have an elite defense this year. PFF has them rated number 1. We have 2 top 6 cornerbacks. We have 2 top 5 linebackers. We got JJ, Huff, Quinnen as number 7 for defensive tackles. We have elite guys on every single level of this defense. And we can't win games.
Well, I'll tell you.
Wait, let me just add one more thing to that, please. If Nathaniel Hackett is not Rodgers' buddy, a move gets made. And the only reason I think it's not getting made and play calling's not being stripped is because it's Aaron Rodgers' buddy. And we have to tread these waters, and we gotta go through these rough patches, because when they do get together, you're gonna see what this offense can do. And they're not gonna change the whole offense with the potential of Rodgers coming back. They're gonna hope that they can win it on defense, special teams, field goals, maybe get a touchdown. But
I agree that Hackett would be on the hot seat, and there'd be a lot more talking to man for his job. But I think that Jet fans know that it's not going to happen because of Aaron Rodgers. So it's the same thing with benching, Lazard or anything like that. We probably wouldn't even have him on the team. We conceived a lot to get Aaron Rodgers on this team. We gave in a lot and did a lot of moves that we might not have made. And right now, not having him, it really is like embarrassing because we're stuck. We're stuck with this incompetent offensive coordinator. We're stuck, who's only had success when he had Aaron Rodgers basically running the freaking offense. And we're stuck with we're not stuck with not benching Lazard. And that's something we'll talk about. There's no excuse for Lazard to still be playing and not benched for a game or two, some kind of statement to the team. It's absolutely ridiculous because you can't be any worse than him. I want to say, we the people, I know you still owe me a pizza. Next time I come for a game, though, whenever it is, and I'm in Staten Island, I'm going to make sure I save some time, and you're going to pick me up and take me to Pizza Giavi. But I agree with all of that, and the offense is more than just Zach being bad, and people are acting like in the chat, and people are acting like all over Twitter that when you say that you're defending Zach. Not defending Zach. Okay, Zach is not going to ever be a starting quarterback in this league. At best, he's going to be a backup quarterback that's actually functional and has a career. That to me, that's it. It's done. He's not going to ever be the dream that we wanted. He's not going to be this really good starting quarterback. He just isn't. He can't do it. He can't process the what's going on. But that doesn't mean it's all his fault. That doesn't mean, like Nick is saying, it doesn't mean we should overlook horrendously bad play calling. I mean, it took them until overtime last week to even take a shot downfield. We got the pass interference. We come into this game, and they were not taking shots. If you can't move the ball anyway, take a shot. Get a flag. Do something. And that's the thing. Do something. So the coaching is horrendous. Alan Lazard is horrendous. He's probably the worst. He's probably had the worst 3 performances in 3 games in a row for a player to not be benched. Like, it is shocking to me. Like, Denzel
I started chanting, "Take him out." I was literally up top screaming, "Take him out."
And I am not defending. I'm not saying I'm not a Denzel Mims truther. I'm just saying the reality is Denzel Mims came in, dropped a touchdown pass. He had a couple of penalties on him, and they benched him for 8 weeks, and they brought in Tariq Black instead of him. So where's the consequences for Alan Lazard? Where are the consequences? And I'm not anything against this kid personally. I really like Alan Lazard. I like him. I think he's totally chill, totally cool dude. I like from Hard Knocks, from seeing him, from every interview. I like the kid. I'm not going to say anything bad about him personally, but his performance as a football player is absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. He is hurting this team. He is harming our team. We are paying him $13 million to make us worse. It is ridiculous. Use Jason Brownlee. I don't care. You cannot be worse than Alan Lazard right now for our team because he is harming our team. He is preventing us to have a chance to win. And then the offensive line, yeah, they're beat up, so obviously they're not good. And there's no discipline. You also got to talk about that. The penalties are ridiculous. So many mental mistake penalties. It's you cannot do this. You cannot win. Anytime we get a drive going, we find a way to blow it. And then the final thing I'm going to say is the one time we get into the red zone, as soon as we got there, backwards 20 yards. We just go backwards. It's ridiculous. It's as bad as I've seen an offense be. So that's why we're saying it's not all Zach Wilson. Because it's the entire offense. The entire offense is pathetic. It's pathetic.
I'm going to say something. And listen, the viewers, we're a family. And sometimes families disagree. And sometimes families argue. And it's out of love. And it's because that we care, right? Knob had a comment. And Knob, you know I love you. You're my boy. But I'm going in on a comment you made, pal. Douglas deserves to get his butt flamed for his inefficiency this season due to 2 things. 1, Jack. 2, shit. And Jack tore his Achilles on the 4th play. And if Jack doesn't tear his Achilles, we beat the Patriots, we beat the Chiefs, and we beat the Chargers. And we're 7-1. And people are saying, how many other teams would be elite if they lose their starter? Buffalo loses Allen, they're done. Mahomes goes down, they're done. Hurts goes down, they're done. Burrow was down, still playing, and people were counting them out at 1-3. They've won 4 in a row now that he's healthy. So it goes to show we would be 7-1. I'll put my name out. The Cowboys game, we still would have lost because it's the one game our defense wasn't our defense, and they found a way. That's the anomaly. We would be 7-1, and we would be labeled the best team in football right now if Aaron Rodgers was here, even with the injuries. Everything has to be perfect in order for Zach Wilson to win games in the NFL. He's a backup quarterback for a reason. We made the quarterback move for a fucking reason because we knew he wasn't a starter. Financial repercussions are why we kept him. He wasn't supposed to play. No one thought what would happen to us happened to us. So let's not flame anybody because 7-1 with Rodgers, we'd all be talking about the Super Bowl. So let's kind of chill with that. Please, everyone. It's not just you, Knob. I'm not just coming at you, buddy. Like I said, you know I love you, but that take is out there. Look, I know you can't buy it. I've seen you on Twitter, messages, my Facebook group, and in the chat here, other chats. I get it. But you're not going to have Zach at $10 million. You're not going to bring in another guy like Minshew. You're not going to have $75 million tied up between 3 quarterbacks. It's not plausible. It's not logical. If we spent that money, people would have been ripping them because we wouldn't have been able to spend it elsewhere because you gave $12 million. You're going to have a $10 million third-string quarterback in Zach who you might not dress. I know you're not mad now. I just want other people to understand.
If the reality is, if you let Joe Douglas go, if they agreed, let's say the Johnsons agreed with Knob and they let Joe Douglas go,
would be the hottest GM on the market by far.
In 3 to 5 years, you'd see him accepting a Lombardi trophy. He'd go to a team that's not jinxed, right? And he would start drafting great players, just like with us. He'd be hitting young stud players, signing free agents, missing on some, but hitting on others. And within a couple of years, wherever he went, he would turn it around into a great roster, just like our roster, and the injuries wouldn't happen, and we watched him get that Lombardi trophy while we have dog do. Because you know how hard it is? You know how few good GMs there are? 90% of them fail miserably. Please stop pointing at Joe Douglas. The guy has done, I'm not saying he's perfect, but come on, man. This is the best roster we've had in forever. And he keeps pumping in great talent. The guy knows how to do it. He can't. He's not there. He's not playing the games. He's not the coaches. I know he's responsible for the coaching, but now he's stuck because Rodgers is not going to want them to fire him. I mean, so it is what it is. But at the end of the day, the number one culprit, the number one thing that hurts us is we missed on quarterback, but 70% of the quarterbacks miss. 80% miss. Almost every other GM would have selected Zach Wilson with that pick if they needed a quarterback. So let's stop the bullshit. I'm not holding Zach Wilson against him. He's done everything else overall. He's been amazing. He's put together an amazing roster. And we've been decimated with injuries. And that's the culprit more than anything else. The injuries to the offensive line is disgusting. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers went down before he even completed the pass for us is not Joe Douglas's fault. It's just this freaking, I can't explain it. There's this dark cloud over this organization. And if you got to know that by now, because how the hell does he go down before he gets a completion in game 1? Give me a break. It's only the Jets. That doesn't happen. It's happened to us twice now in our history that we're ready to compete for a Super Bowl and our quarterback freaking goes down. So second time it's happened in 26 years. And you might think that's a long time ago, but it's all in my lifetime, so it sucks.
Yeah, once is too many. No, I'm not saying they're punting on the season. What I'm saying is that they're trying to tread water with a guy who's not an NFL starter. He's a backup at best. And you can't just go find guys in the middle of the season. You try to tread water. You hope your defense, you hope your run game, you hope that you can design some things to put in our favor. And we've had some games in our favor. We beat the Eagles. We're capable of winning with Zach. But we can't shoot ourselves in the toe. We can't have procedural penalties. We can't have Garrett Wilson getting pissed off because the guy hit him on the sideline and then take a cheap shot at the guy's back to take away a 19-yard fucking run from Breece Hall because he's in his goddamn feelings. Where the ref had to push him back. And then the next play, Garrett had predetermined in his head, I'm going to go knock that guy in his fucking back. And he did. We need to fucking look at everything going on and not just point at Zach.
We got someone new.
Zach cannot overcome 1st and 15s, 1st and 20s, time and time again. 2nd and 14s. He can't do it. He's not that guy. Maybe once or twice a game, but consistently losing yardage or penalties backing us up. CJ drops a touchdown in the chest. Garrett gets a beautiful throw, gets downfield, fumbles it. There's other guys fucking up. It's a collective group of suckage. It's an orgy of suckage going on right now with the offense. It's not one guy. It goes from the coachings all the way down to every player. It's the first game Becton hasn't had a false start in 4 weeks. There's everyone doing shit bad.
Yeah, it's a
Why?
mess.
Can I just say why? Because you don't have a quarterback. You have a quarterback who's playing afraid. He's afraid to open his mouth. He's afraid to throw an interception. He's afraid to make a fucking mistake. And you cannot play the game of football with fear. And I feel bad for the fucking kid.
Meanwhile, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if you've ever been here before. 12 years. It's good to have you. Yes, he owns the. I'm not. You're right. JD owns that mistake, though. He does own the mistake. He made the pick. Look, that's what you hire a GM for, to know more than we do, to know more than other GMs. And he made the pick. But I got to tell you, we knew we were taking a quarterback at that point, and none of the quarterbacks that were left really would have worked out anyway, right? I mean, didn't they all kind of bust anyway? So,
well, you want bag of shit, Mac Jones? You want Mac Jones leading us?
Right. So, I mean, it's not like there was anyone left that was going to work for us anyway. So, because they all failed pretty much after Zach. So, the only thing you could criticize them for, and I'm sure Nob will say that this is what he was saying, is that they did, the only thing you could say is, what if they didn't trade Sam Darnold and rolled with Darnold and kept, whatever, traded down and had 1 billion picks and got even more crazy talent. And that's the only thing you could really point to and say that he could have done differently. He could have kept Sam Darnold. And I would love to have Sam Darnold right now. Maybe people called me an idiot. I would love to have Sam Darnold over Zach Wilson right now, without question. Go ahead.
Sorry. I don't know. I mean, when we win, Jets universe, Jets Twitter, Jets fans, it's the greatest place on earth. And then when we lose a game, it's like anybody who wants to think logically and not go to the extreme is just outnumbered. It's not like everything is good. It's not like everyone is healthy. It's not like Aaron Rodgers is playing and we're 4-4. When Aaron Rodgers got hurt, we all said the season's over. We don't have a chance. Surprise, surprise. Zach's play has given us a chance. He fucking outdueled Mahomes. The kid has it in him, but the line was at its best that game against a very good defense. You saw what they just did to Tua and the Dolphins offense, and Zach outdueled Mahomes in that game. Tua didn't outduel Mahomes this week. So you got to look at it in perspective sometimes. It's too easy just to blame one guy. And we're going to get more to the chat comments coming up. We got the coaches presser starting in a few minutes. Just a reminder, as always, if you want to cut the line, you want to get your comment on right away, Super Chat is a great way to do that. Support the show. Help Jeremy buy a mask to cover up his face. Please, for the love of God, assist him with that.
Actually, no. Help me pay for new internet. I have to get a separate line put into this office. I can't stand it. I mean, maybe people like it and think it's funny, though. I'd rather see that bald-headed egghead chopped up and choppy than have to look at his ugly face live, like with good quality internet.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going wrong. I mean, Mitchell and Turner are not supposed to be. Mitchell never played a game at right guard. He's been a right tackle. He's been a tackle. We switched them to right. Now we're switching them to guard. Like we're playing musical chairs with the offensive line. And something we said before the year, the only way a line gets good, coincidence, our best 3 games were when we had consistency with the offensive line. No.
Right.
And then AVT got hurt. And then McGovern got hurt. And then Schweitzer got hurt. And now Turner's hand is broken. Not that I ever root for an injury, but Turner not being out there could be a blessing.
Sometimes, yes, there are certain guys who, when they get hurt, you're like, I don't want to be an asshole and root for anybody to get hurt. But sometimes it's like, is it really going to make our team worse? Because could you be any worse than Turner? I'm not sure. I think I'd rather have Newman at right guard and Mitchell at right tackle, to be honest.
All right, Grandizer, it's a good point, but I'm comparing Zach to Tua. So Zach played better against that Kansas City defense than Tua did. That's also part of it. I know I get a little hyper sometimes and my thoughts don't come out as clear. Jeremy is very good with being erratic and crazy. I sometimes get flustered and I don't think clearly. But let's be real, all right? Let's flip the script. Let's close the book here on this. You go out and you beat the fucking Raiders on Sunday night. And now things are better, right? You lose this game, and then here we go. It's like it snowballs downhill, and next week's show will be even worse to deal with.
I wouldn't say that
not just the show, but Jets fans just in general. Like I'm not saying the show or just this chat, but the internet, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, the TV.
I don't know if I agree that they're better. I mean, if we were to beat the Raiders 16-13 and another stinker on up, it's because the record wise, you might say we're better, right? Oh, 5-4, we still have a chance. Yeah, we have a chance, but the reality is, if the offense doesn't start to show improvement, and this is what it's going to be, we don't have a chance.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, the whole AFC North has to play each other. They're all going to stack some losses. We just got to sprinkle in some wins so that the last 2 weeks of the season, it's win 2 and you're in, and we get number 8 back.
Well,
that's my opinion. That's what I think is happening. I've been saying it for weeks before this watch thing. I said that the Cleveland game, he gets 10 days off after. I don't see how you say that, Knob. With our defense, with Washington's offensive line, they got rid of their pass rush. There's several games we're going to win. We have Josh Allen's number. Josh Allen plays catch with our defense. Josh Allen can't score on our defense.
But everybody in the league.
I'm not going to play Jets therapist. I'm not going to try to convince everybody. Let's just see how it plays out.
Yeah, but my worry is that everybody in the league is watching now, and every future team we play is going to say Zach sucks. Like he's back to being Zach. Stack the box. Don't let them run. Don't let them get a lead. And if they don't get a lead, let's just play the short game against them. Do what the Giants did. Just run the ball a lot, barely pass it, to take away all their strength, get into an ugly game with them. And if everyone, if those teams like Washington and, if those teams do that, then we're in a really bad position only because you can't put together a win streak that way. Like we knew this was going to happen if our offense didn't play better. We knew you can't make every game a coin to us because eventually you're going to start losing games too, So my thing is what do we have to do to fix it? What do they have to figure out to get to light a fire on this offense and get something to happen? What do you think it could be? Just simply let him throw downfield, let him take shots, and maybe we get some penalties and that puts some juice into this thing?
You want my prediction?
Yeah.
He's not throwing interceptions. People are fucking ripping him. The minute he throws an interception, they're going to fucking rip him. The kid's in a lose-lose situation with the Jet fan and the Jet fan mentality.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it is. That's how Jets fans feel about Zach. This is why we run every fucking player out of town. That's why a guy like Geno Smith does well down the road, because you get the fuck out of this toxic environment with the toxic media and the toxic fan base. Why no superstars in the NBA want to go play with the Knicks, because it's too fucking toxic here. They want you to play like Joe Burrow from day one, or you fucking suck and we're done with you. We had fumbles. We had penalties. We had no blocking. We had poor quarterback play. I just listed 5 things. We had bad play calling. We had bad play design. 7 fucking reasons that the New York Jets could not score on Sunday or Monday night. But we're just saying it's Zach. It's Zach's fault Garrett Wilson fumbled. It's Zach's fault that Garrett Wilson pushed the fucking guy in the back when Breece Hall has a big run. It's Zach's fault Lazard doesn't know how to fucking line up. It's Zach's fault Lazard drops fucking everything. It's Zach's fault that Hackett brings in 3 fucking tight ends to run the ball like it's Pop Warner. It's the fucking NFL, dude. You got to catch these teams off guard. You can't be predictable.
How many times did they leave him in the backfield alone? The guy's getting sacked left and right. We can't protect him, and they're leaving him alone in the backfield. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. It's 3rd and 2. Let's let everybody know we're going to pass and have a 5-set, nobody be in the backfield with them. Let's just tell them what we're going to do.
With 2 tight ends in the 5 who can't beat man coverage.
Right. Fucking ridiculous. Let me tell you something. If you watch that game, you weren't happy. You weren't thrilled with Zach. You know, I'm not sitting there saying that you were thrilled with him, but you certainly weren't thinking you couldn't watch that game live. From my perspective, watching the game live, there's no way I'm thinking this is only a quarterback problem. There's no way you're thinking that. Because, yes, I'm watching him do some shitty plays, and I'm frustrated that he won't throw the ball sooner. But at the same time, I'm watching him throw nice passes that are being dropped. I'm watching him squeeze in nice passes on 3rd down, which would extend the drive, and they're being dropped. And then I'm watching, like you said, I'm watching Breece Hall do great runs, and they get called back because of stupid penalties. So it's like, so sitting from the seat of someone who sat there and watched it live, it wasn't any one player. It was a horrendously bad offense from coach all the way down to the freaking water boy who brings water to them. It was horrendous. They did everything wrong. So to say Zach doesn't make sense. Just say Jets offense was horrible, because that's what it is. The Jets offense is horrible, because even one of our best player, best wide receiver 1, Garrett Wilson, makes fucking crazy bitch mistakes that is killing this team. And he's been doing it not just 1 week. He's been doing it for weeks now. Key drops, penalties. Garrett Wilson, still our best player, still puts up good numbers with this crap. Still our shining light in all this messiness and nausea. But he's falling short of arguing he's a top 8 guy in this league, because I can name 8 receivers who don't come with all the bullshit, that aren't coming with the mistakes. So if he wants to be a top 8 receiver in this league, he's got to eliminate the mistakes. He's got to get rid of the penalties, and he's got to get rid of the drops, because he's starting to become a drop guy.
And I'll say this. It happened on the Jets sideline. The ref had to hold Wilson back. How the fuck don't you pull him out and let him cool his goddamn head off before he goes out there and knocks the guy in the back that caught you? How do you not take him out after the fucking penalty? That is where I'm finally going to fucking go at Saleh. How do you not have control of your player in that situation? You want to flame Saleh for that? I'm with you 100%. Other shit I don't agree with that I see. But when you got a player who's hot, trying to go after the other defender where the official is pushing him away, get him out, take a play, hit a reset button, address it, and then put him out. What do? We put him out there, and he goes and knocks the guy in the back with the cheap shot. Penalty.
Yeah, because I pull him to the sideline, and if he's still yelling, I say, look, you need to take a breath and calm down if you want to go back in. And if he gives me any back talk or anything, I'm not fucking around. I would tell him, look, I'm calling you father. You know the relationship he has with his dad? I would say it to him. I'd remind him. I'd say, your father's watching right now.
Wait a minute. You were going to let a 10-year-old walk back to a seat by himself, and now you want to call somebody's dad?
No, but I'm like, your dad's watching right now. I go, is this who he wants you to be? And then how would he respond to that? I mean, because like I'm sick of it. You did all this talk. Oh, good kid. Proud of my son. I'm proud of my dad. I make my dad proud. Okay, you making your dad proud right now? Behaving like this? Letting this guy get into your head? It's like you're one of our best players. You're our top two. We have two guys on this field that we freaking know we have good players. We have
this is
Brees
a good
Hall
one.
and Garrett Wilson. You can't do this shit.
This is a great question. And this is something that I talked about during the game, and I hate New York Jets fans. Jets 830, what's up, buddy? I saw you say hello to us before in the chat. Tigo, Brian Doobie, all gas, no gas. Ronald Perry, everyone joining in late now. Thank you for joining us. Question, what was your thoughts about when Zach was changing the plays at the line of scrimmage like he knew what the fuck he was doing? I love that he finally had the freedom to check in and out of plays because we've seen so many times where he hasn't. So they're allowing him to find what he's comfortable with. They're coaching him enough where he's seeing the reads. He's not throwing picks, so he's seeing the reads the right way on the defense. Now, what I hated were the fucking moans and groans from the fans. It's the first half. Why are they acting like we got to snap the ball 26 seconds left on the play clock? They're moaning and groaning. Peyton Manning made a fucking Hall of Fame career out of making reads and checks at the lines and freezing the defense, not allowing them to substitute and catching them in situations that could be advantageous to the offense. I'm not putting Zach on that level. Don't think that. But moaning and groaning that he's making checks and changes and he's not snapping it right away, shut the fuck up at the lower level. Jesus Christ. That's why I don't leave the house. Just want to be clear. That's why I don't leave the house. I don't like people.
Look,
I love you guys in the chat, but I don't like people.
Before I judge, I like that. I like, and I think it's necessary that you have a quarterback that can come up to the line of scrimmage and call an audible and make changes and have options to do that because they're seeing things at the last second that you don't see.
It's a sign of mental development, which we've all ripped him for, right?
Right. I like that. Now, as far as how I feel he's doing, I can't answer that unless I would need a guy like Dylan or Dom or at least to sit with you, another brain to bounce ideas off. You and me together, watching the game back, seeing what the change was, looking at the defense and then talking it out and saying, was that the right decision? Forget about execution. If he's making the right decision, if he's making those changes when he should be based on what you're looking at in the defense, the way they're lining up, then I like it even more, and he's doing a great job, and that's not his issue. But if he's making changes where we're looking at it going, well, why is he doing that? Why is he changing it from a run to a pass? Why is he doing that? The box is not stacked. Like, if there are things like that happening, then we would question it and say, well, it's one thing to call audibles. I mean, it's great he's calling audibles, but you got to know what you're doing. So I can't judge him right now because I didn't do that. And it would be unfair to sit there and judge whether he's making the right audibles or not without looking at it and talking about it with people, right? And making a decision based on what we're seeing.
I want to bring something up. Billy SBC, what's up, buddy? Thank you for watching. The constant line injuries. What other NFL team has the problem? You know what I want to see? I want to see what they do at the top colleges. All of the offensive linemen have the knee braces on, right? Georgia, Alabama, all these colleges, they make you wear the knee braces to protect your knees, make sure you don't get rolled up on, to help stabilize the knees of the big guys. Why can't we do that? Why don't they do that in the NFL? I guess people will say the players get to play how they play. They're paid. It's not coaches telling them what to do. But I see that in college, man, and I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. Protect your assets, right? Protect your quarterback. Protect guys that you care about. I don't know. Just my thoughts on it. Thanks for bringing it up, Billy. Thank you, everyone, for watching it. We're in the coach's presser, so this is your guys' time to ask questions. If you have a question, please put a question mark after it. I'm trying to skim through the comments coming in, and if I see a question mark, it makes it easier for my old brain. Hey, NJ Pete, how you been?
Good to see you, buddy. How you doing? That's how you
I
know.
got that
That's how you
one.
know. By the way, that's how you know I was recently in New York. When I'm walking around, I was walking
How
around all
you
day.
doing?
I was walking around all day today. How you doing?
And then a couple days you'll be back to like, oh my God, you have a plastic straw. You're not humane.
Fuck
The
that.
California will kick back
I
in pretty
hate
soon.
those paper straws. Those paper straws. Why would you use a
Horrible.
paper straw? I won't use
Horrible.
a paper straw because it sucks. Because I'm
Horrible.
sucking down soft, mushy paper in my straw by the time my drink is done. That's why, motherfucker.
Go put cardboard in your mouth for 10 seconds. That's what it is.
I'll be right back. You talk.
The checks are called plays, and he's
I'll
reading
be
one
right
player
back.
and
I'm
checking the
thirsty.
play. That's crazy that Zach is doing. Oh, thank God he's gone. Now you guys get to see me and not him. Let's see, what do we got going on in the chat? Billy, I don't know. I guess my thought process I kind of said out loud is that the NFL players, like Sauce Gardner, doesn't get his ankles taped. He wears low cleats with no ankle tape. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, your legs are your greatest asset. Why wouldn't you protect them and make sure you don't roll an ankle? I don't know, man. Bad luck. Bad luck. I don't know. Yeah, Pete, agreed. You got to roll the pocket. You got to get him on the move. The kid's athletic. Give him a run, pass, threat out of the pocket. 100%, man. Hey, what's up, Gay? Stock price is low on Zach Wilson. You buying, selling, or holding? You're holding. Trevor Siemian can't pass Tim Boyle. Trevor Siemian is not just coming on the roster and starting. I don't think Zach is playing bad enough to get benched. 33 out of 49. No interceptions. He's not turning the ball over with picks. I don't know. I'm holding. I think it's just tread water and hope to be around 500 with winning a couple games late in the year, and then Aaron could come back. That's me. This defense can do wonders. This defense can create havoc, and they can win a game at any time against any quarterback, any place. Doesn't matter. Look what we just did to the Chargers offense. It's the first game. 7 fumbles hit the ground the other day. 6 of them were recovered by the Chargers. It just doesn't happen normally. That's the way the ball bounces sometimes. It's one of those games where it's the first game aside from the Cowboys where everything we did went wrong. So I'm not going to say we have to change everything because we had one bad game. We're not handcuffing Zach. There's a development, but turnovers, whether they're picks, fumbles, penalties, they're drive killers. You win the time of possession, you win the turnover battle, you have less penalties, you're more likely to win a game. The only thing we won was the time of possession.
I find it
No,
painful.
Weed, I didn't ditch your background. I left my new green hat with the Jet logo upstairs, and the green hat with the green background, it blends in. And I had this one up because I had that and I never changed it, buddy.
But wait a
I
second.
still roll with it.
But wait a second. Weed the people. What am I? Chopped liver?
Yes. On a good day at best. Dude, we're an hour and 13 minutes in. That's the first time I actually did a zinger.
It took you because we're so upset about the game, but it's not like you weren't zinging me a little bit when we told the whole story about how I
That was different though. That is encompassed in the story. That wasn't just an out of the blue punch. This was
unbelievable. I hooked Finnegan up with the best freaking cannoli he ever had in his life.
Did they bench Zach on Sunday? I tell you right now, if that line doesn't do a better job, Crosby might take Zach out and then the next quarterback by himself. Crosby might win the Defensive Player of the Year if it's Mitchell and Turner. I know Turner broke his hand. He's unlikely.
I don't know
but
how
if
they're
it's
going
Mitchell, even Becton. Crosby will run right around Becton.
I don't know what they're going to do. He's saying, did I get a Coke? I didn't bring it up here.
And run. Spread them out and run time and time again.
I had like a third of a cup left of Coke from McDonald's from before. So I ran downstairs because we were talking about straws. It made me remember I had it. And I went down there and I just sucked down a third of a cup of Coke and I ran back up. But I didn't bring it with me.
Wait a minute. I remember doing shows with a guy from the draft on that said, I will eat a McDonald's double cheeseburger for every sack Will McDonald got. He got a half a sack. Where's the burger?
I ate a
I
freaking
want to
triple-
watch you have the willpower to eat half a burger.
I have to do that. I ate a triple cheeseburger and a double cheeseburger before.
You know what you do? You wait till the end of the year and you do it all in one show. I'll do it with you.
You know why I ate a triple cheeseburger and a double cheeseburger? Because 2 double cheeseburgers not enough, and 2 triple cheeseburgers is a little too much.
Oh, you give me 2 triples and I throw the bread away? I'm happy. I toss the bread away. I don't eat the McDonald's bread. It's not worth it. I'll take the fries for my carbs. I'm not having the bread and then fries on top of it.
Mm.
Hey, Eric, thank you. Oh, I didn't even get to talk about it. It was really cool. You know, you guys who watched the stream last week, Matt O'Leary made a huge donation to help me and Nikki get there. Seeing him in person and Nikki meeting him and getting to thank him. Green Bean, Ryan, seeing Dom and Jeremy. Twisted was there. Harry was there. You know, and I suck with names. So there were several other people. If you're in here and I forgot your name, I'm sorry. But when I'm getting people's names thrown at me left and right, you're better with the one guy's name we were talking to with the old Jet Super Bowl leather jacket on.
Oh, wow.
He was sitting there by the Ryan's truck talking to us for a little bit. You mentioned his name earlier.
Damn it. Why am I forgetting?
Yeah. And you know, I don't do the drinking anymore, so I don't. I was kind of staying out on the side, you know, like that's not something I'm comfortable or want to be around too much. And you know, people drinking and smelling like it, I was kind of just staying off in the distance. You know, drinking me would have been out on the dance floor dancing with all the Chargers ladies fans who, by the way, those Charger blue pants with the yellow lightning bolts up and down the side. It's a good look for some of those ladies. Some of them had no business wearing them, but some of those that did, double thumbs up. That was easy on the eyes.
I love that. I love that this is what got Francis to put in a chat. He heard triple cheeseburger. And he had to say something. That caught his attention. Daniel too. Me, like that catches everybody's attention. Yeah, and triple cheeseburger. When I go to In-N-Out Burger, I get a 3x3. And people are like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, well, it's too much bread if I get 2 double doubles. So sometimes when I want fries, I'm in the mood for fries or cheese fries. I'll get cheese fries and animal style a 3x3 burger. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
12 years. I'll answer this. They're both bad.
Sorry. I did that.
Sorry, I got the question. I see it on my scroll. How do you rate QB fumbles versus interceptions? They both suck. Turnovers, they're obviously drive enders and put the team in a good play, the other team in a good position. Interception can be 30 yards downfield, and it's almost like a punt sometimes. The fumble in the backfield could be a scoop and run and just as easy as a score, and you're putting them in the team in a better position. It's got to eliminate the turnovers, whether it's rolling Zach out of the pocket. You got to come up with a plan going against Crosby. And then you're going to have Myles Garrett later in the year. You're going to have Buffalo's pass rush. You got to come up with a plan. You can't just drop Zach and let him sit in the middle of a pocket. You got to create a game plan where the kid can succeed. And right now, it's difficult. Oh, I'm sorry. What was the one you had? My bad. Did you have the question?
If someone said which is worse, the quarterback fumbling or throwing an interception, I'd say I can't judge it by that. Like, which is worse as far as the player?
Whatever one they score on, right? If they score on one, that's the worst one.
I'm saying, like, which is the worst as far as what makes you a bad player or a bigger goof or a bigger mistake? If you're asking that, it depends on the interception. It depends on the fumble. Like, sometimes the fumble's not the player's fault. They drop back. and literally the guy's there in a second, and it's really the offensive line. He gets crushed, and the ball goes flying. And then there are times where the quarterback for a fumble might hold the ball way too long and do some foolish shit with it, like try to hold it out, getting the first down before he's down, and somebody just knocks it out of his hand, like dumb shit. And then an interception, sometimes it's not, the quarterback's fault at all, because it's like they throw the ball right on target to their player, and the player, like Corey Davis, knocks it up in the air 10 feet, like he always seems to do. And then sometimes you throw an interception that's 100% your fault. That's stupid as shit. So to me, it just depends on the individual turnover. That's how I would rank them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see a question from Jim Pock. Because there was no lineman worth drafting where we were. Once Broderick Jones came off the board, and if you saw the take flight, it didn't look like Jones was their guy anyway. This scheme, you go back and look at the 49ers drafts, they constantly reload pass rushers. Lawson's gone. He's not even active. He was a healthy scratch again. Excuse me.
That's Knobcraft.
So, there's a Huff demands too much money and we don't tag him. Huff might be gone. You're going to keep reloading pass rushers in this scheme. Get used to it. Get used to it. The year of taking the cornerback and the wide receiver in round 1 is the anomaly. It's going to be guys in the trenches time and time again going forward, whether O-line, D-line. I think, there's plenty of time to discuss draft, but don't look at how Jermaine Johnson has developed in year 2 compared to where he was in early November last year. That's why. Because you're not drafting that guy to make that immediate impact. You're drafting for his development, his coaching, his evolution. And
by the way, I want to point out I made a mistake before. When I said we have 2 great players on offense, we have 3. Joe Tippmann is great. Look at the statistics of the offensive linemen from the game on that. We had one guy who played above everybody else, and it's the guy coming back from injury, the rookie, playing his first game at center, and had
what
center, and had the best game of all the offensive linemen. So I want to point that out. I just want to point that out. It's like we got ourselves a star in Tippmann without question, and I don't think. I mean, maybe Tigo could fill us in. I think that Mitchell may have been okay at right guard, like not as bad as Lakin. I think he may have been better than Lakin on Monday night. So we have to look into that, because we were talking about Mitchell being a right guard. And what's really funny is I thought I was just shooting, like I was just reaching for, the sky by even suggesting it. And Tigo said, yeah, I think he could play right guard. And then it actually happened, which is kind of cool that I kind of predicted that a little bit. I kind of said, why can't we move Mitchell to right guard? And they actually did. But I got to look in and how he played. I'd love to watch that. I don't know if anybody watched the All-22, but I would love to figure out how Mitchell played at right guard, because it would be nice to hear like, oh, he played well, So that would be
Here's
really cool.
A really, really good one from Francis. If you had to keep one player, Quincy or Sauce, who are you keeping? Now, Quincy's 27.
I hate that. I hate this.
I'll give the quick version of this, because there's a lot of questions and I know I'm way behind. If you had to keep one player, I would say Quincy, because we haven't had a linebacker who can cover tight ends, running backs, and make tackles for losses on the outside in a very long time. And in the Eagle game, we were without Sauce and Reed. And I'm still shocked that we took Sauce at 4 last year. I'm happy that we did. I don't have any knocks on him. But I'm very surprised, knowing this scheme the way that they are. They always go D-line first, and then they can build behind it. But I would take Quincy, because I think for us and the Jets, finding a guy who can play this scheme and play them as the majority of zone on the outside is easier than finding a speed linebacker who can hit and thump and do what Quincy's doing. I think it's more rare with what Quincy's doing for us. That's my take.
Nuts. Sauce Gardner's a future Hall of Famer. I think you're out of your mind. Anytime we play a team with a great wide receiver 1, we could freaking put Sauce on them. Are you kidding me?
How many years have we seen tight ends and running backs in the flat kill us? So it's like 6 of one, half dozen of the other, right? Like we've been killed by both. And we have DJ Reed. DJ Reed's the number 1 rated cornerback. So if you go with the logic of we're keeping Reed, you got to factor that in. We don't have a guy to do what Quincy does. We have a guy that does what Sauce is doing. He's actually rated higher than Sauce right now this year.
No, I don't care. They developed Quincy. They can find good athletes and develop them. You don't develop a Sauce Gardner. You don't find somebody and develop a player like that. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. He's a magical, special player.
I got you. I actually want to catch up in the chat and see if anyone said Sauce plays a premium position. Is very young. Sauce easy. I got you. I mean, it's not going to come down to that. It may come down to Garrett or Sauce. That's the conversation that might happen.
I mean, luckily we don't.
You might have to trade one of those guys.
Look, luckily we don't. Those are crazy hypothetical questions that we don't actually have to ever worry about. Because I hate having to I would hate to lose either one of them. I hate having to answer questions like that.
Yeah,
I'd rather deal with the real life question of when we're actually drafting and there's 2 really good players and it's like, who do we pick? Like, I like that better than once we have players we really like saying, who would you get rid of first? I hate that. I was like, no, we got them. I don't want to give them up. I don't want to think about, but like when we get into like the situation where we're drafting and there's 2 guys we love, like one of those was when we took Breece Hall. I was, Nakobe Dean was available. So I'm screaming, Nakobe Dean, and
he's out maybe for the year today. He had a Liz Frank injury. Really? I got an alert earlier. Nakobe Dean, who's been calling the defense for the Eagles, is going to see a doctor, and he's got a Liz Frank that came in today.
He's been injury plagued, right? Because he was out most of the last year, I think, too. Or they were just developing him. I don't know. He didn't seem to play a lot last year.
I mean,
that sucks.
If I'm adding this into the question, you're taking age out of it, and you're just saying today if you had to keep one of them. I'm keeping Quincy because I'm not waiting 2 or 3 years to develop another linebacker. We beat the Eagles with their dynamic wide receivers with guys who weren't even on an NFL roster. They were practice squad players. So this pass rush can make your secondary better. I think it's easier to find guys who can play this scheme on the corner than it is to find that linebacker. And I don't want to wait 2-3 years to develop another game-changing linebacker, something we haven't had in a long fucking time. That's me.
Yeah, I won't call you an idiot.
You will, but I don't think you do it for this. Right? If we got Huff and JJ doing what Huff and JJ and Quinnen do and JFM creating all these pressures, it makes the life of the cornerbacks easier. And then when you're dumping it off because of that and you got to get rid of the ball quick, you want to be able to cover the tight end. You want to be able to cover the running backs. And that's been our Achilles heel, no pun intended, for a very long time with this defense. Yeah, Daniel, you could say it's an outlier, but those guys played well. They were breaking up passes in the end zone. Those guys came in and played well. Our pass rush was good. It forces people to play where they don't want to play. You take away their comfort zone. And our D-line does that, which allows everyone else behind them to succeed. I get what you're saying. But here's a question. We got a couple questions back to back here. Do you see us bringing back Huff, especially with the contract that Sweat got from the Bears? Yeah, I think the Bears, who have 110 million or had 110 million available before that, when you trade for that guy and you give up that capital, you're signing him, and you're going to do it where he doesn't even think about free agency, and you're going to overpay him because you traded to get him in the building. So, I mean, he's got almost 30 career sacks. They want to use him as the main guy on their D. I'm not sweating the Huff situation. I think that you're seeing the value of Huff, and don't be surprised if Huff ends up earning a contract similar to that. I think Huff could be he's going to be unstoppable the rest of the season. He's developed into an every down player. He's going to get a sack and a half or more every goddamn game. especially with some of the offensive lines that we have coming up.
Can you imagine if we had an offense and we had a lead? We don't even know what our defensive line could be. We don't know what the numbers could be because we never have a lead. And that's when most of the sacks come. When you have a lead, how many sacks come at the end of a game, the last 20 minutes of the game, middle of the third quarter, when you have a lead? That's when I see so many sacks, when the other team is forced to pass, and that's where you take over games. And we never get to do that. And when we finally did, when we were going at it, which game? Like the overtime against the Giants. Whenever we're in a situation where the other team is forced to have to pass at some point, we terrorize the quarterback. So we just need to get a lead for once, just so we can watch this team see how good they can be, just to have fun. Don't you want to just for once have a game where we're up by like 20 points and we get to sit back and just watch our defensive line dominate?
You know what? That's a good. Yeah. No. You're right. I'm sorry. I was reading some of the chat comments.
What are you talking about?
I have a take on this. So why is our offense so bad when it gets to practice against the top 3 unit on defense all the time? Because our defense doesn't blitz. And when we're playing against all these other teams and we see these blitzes, we're not used to it.
Oh.
I know they throw the practice squad out there and then they do the prep work, but it's different, man, when you're going up against the A team and not the D team. Now, that's my take on it. You know, it would be nice if the A team went out there and did some blitzes to show, and maybe they might, but from everything we see, we're not really a blitzing team, and it's a lot of 4-man rush. Now there's the communication, and let's be real, the turnstile, the revolving door with all these guys coming in and out. Our line was looking much better when we had those 3 games in a row with the same line. But I think that's the biggest part of it.
People
when we had AVT and Tittman next to one another, we look good. And then even Mitchell and Tittman next to each other look good in the Denver game. Go ahead.
People underestimate continuity. And we just moved a tackle to guard. And we moved in a tackle who hasn't played. You know, like the whole right side of the line. And Tittman, a new center. So you had 3 guys lined up in a row that never played before together. One in a new position, one making his first NFL game in that position. You know, like with Tittman. I mean, like that's not easy. It's a pain in the ass. And I know they gave up a lot of sacks, but there was a lot of that game we were watching. There were points of that game you saw, Nick, that we were driving the ball and then we would shoot ourselves in the foot with some other thing. Like there were times where the offensive line was actually doing okay. And we should have just scored. We were moving the ball. We were fine. And then we just found a way to shoot ourselves in the foot. And that's what was so frustrating. Because Breece Hall was still getting 4 to 6 yards every carry. I mean, we're watching him. It's like every first down. It's the 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 4. Like he was doing it. But then it would be some stupid thing that would go wrong. You know, it'd be some stupid play that goes wrong or a penalty. It was just fucking us.
How could there be? Well, this is one of the things Jeremy knows, and a lot of you guys know that I hammered home all offseason, is that we were going to get 65 sacks because we were going to be playing with 10, 13, 17-point leads, and then that got taken away from this defense too. So teams are playing safe. They're punting it away and just saying, all right, go ahead, beat us. You know, we were going to be up 24-6, and teams were going to have to throw. They were going to be the teams throwing 49 times a game, not us.
Didn't we get 6 sacks last night? On Monday? Didn't we get 6 sacks?
5 or 6?
Right, 5 or 6 sacks. We were down the entire game. We were down 14-0 in the first quarter, and we still got 5 or 6 sacks. Think about that. That's a team if we got 5 sacks every game, that's 85 sacks. I mean, think about that. We did that behind. We were down 14 to 17 points the entire game, and we still got 5 sacks.
We were going against a rookie quarterback this week. We should feast on him. Everyone's talking about Crosby. How about our fucking guys? How about our collection of D linemen? They got a rookie in Wilson who I loved. coming out of Texas Tech, right? Tyreek Wilson. And they got Crosby. We got Huff. We got JJ. We got JFM. We got Quinnen. Our guys can play too. We just have to make sure we don't turn the ball over and give our guys a chance to win the game on this defense. That's how good it is.
If we
And
lose
I
to
think you're
them-
going to see another game where we do not give up 300 yards of offense. We're the number 2 pass defense in the NFL after the last 2 weeks, collectively for the year. But the Giant game and now the Chargers holding them to 163. We're number 2 behind Cleveland.
if we could
And
just
I don't
get
see
a-
Aiden O'Connell lighting us up.
if we could just get a lead, some kind of lead, even if it's a defensive touchdown or a freak play, Brees Hall breaks one early. If we could just get a lead, if we get a touchdown, a field goal, go up 10-0, something like that, that forces them to pass, then you will get to see this defense and what it could really do. We need to have a team in the hole. We need to put them in a position where they have to pass the ball a lot. If we could just do that. But if they get the freakish touchdown first, if they're up 10-3, if they're up whatever it is, 13-6, then we don't get to do that. And then they get to eat us slowly, a few yards at a time, and we don't get to feast on them. So our offense needs to do it early. We just need to get ahead a little, and then we're playing our football. Then we're in a great position to win.
Agreed. I'm tired of hearing about what other teams' defense can do to us. Let's not forget who the best defense in football is. And yes, I'm saying that because when it's all said and done, we're the best defense in football. We ran the quarterback gauntlet, and then we had some numbers against us, and now you're going to see week after week, we go higher and higher up the defensive statistical charts. And Matthias, thank you for watching. Guys on Facebook, Greenhouse Football is Matthias's group. It's been around a while. He's a good guy, runs a good show over there. But Matthias, respectfully, my friend, lower your expectations. I like to have a game when we score 20 points. Whoa, pump the brakes. We had one in Denver. That's the one for the season, Matthias. Let's chill. We had the Kansas City game with 20, but let's calm down, brother. Don't get too hasty here. So let's look ahead. You know, everyone with the questions. I'm sorry, a lot of comments coming in, guys. You know, like we said, if we missed all your comments, we can't get them all on screen with how many of you are here watching and all the conversations. Just remember, Super Chat is a great way to skip the line and get your comment, question, feedback, insults to us on air immediately. Help support the channel, help us do some things behind the scenes to give you guys the best show that we can. And to get this diabetic in training all the Coca-Cola he needs. So let's look ahead. All right. We spent a lot of time on your weekend here, which is, I know I bust your balls a lot. I mean, I am the leading ball buster when it comes to you, but it was cool hanging with you guys. You know, it was a fun time. Nikki was happy. We were talking about it as we were walking home, and we were just saying like how cool it was that like people who I go to the games with, you know, my cousin at the tailgate, who I've known since I was born, right?
Yeah.
He's a little bit older than me, not blood related, but it's close enough that he's my cousin. I've known him my whole life. The guys at his tailgate I've known from the early 2000s that we've all, you know, become family and we all know each other. The fact that I have new family through this Jets team, through doing YouTube, you know, I think it's really awesome on a personal level that becoming friends and even family, like you said with me and Nikki last week, which is really cool. I saw what you said about me and us when I left the air. I went back and watched it. But thank you. I don't think I thanked you for that yet, but thank you for those comments.
Made you cry?
It did. I was overwhelmed last week with emotion with everything this awesome fan base did and your generosity too.
I wish I would have had a car. We would have gotten to see each other more. Like I was free on the evenings. I was with a married couple with kids. You know, like they have the kid. They don't go out at night.
Yeah.
So if I had a car, I would have been able to like kind of.
Yeah, and then Friday night, Jody offered to drive out there, and you were like, or Saturday night, and And you were like, I'm
Oh,
exhausted. I was like, all right, I'm glad we asked. Like literally, I could have thrown like 5 footballs to hit where you are in Staten Island. I had an idea for content for the channel, guys. I'm in Woodbridge, and Sea Warren is right here. Like less than a mile is the Sea Warren waterfront, where Woodbridge Township does their fireworks show. And you could see Staten Island right across the way. I was like, wouldn't it be great if like I was on the New Jersey side and you were on the New York side, and we took video of us waving to one another and like edited it together? Like so close, but yet so far.
Jay. No, see, what would be funny is well, I think this, what would be great content, a great video to play footage of and highlights of, if you and me went on a freaking trip to Florida secretly and like fucking kidnapped Tigo, like just snuck up behind him, put like a bag on his head, dragged him into some dark alley, tied him up, didn't let him know it was us. Just talking disguised voices, like, what do we do with them? I don't know. We got to kill the little fucker, and like tie him up. He doesn't know it's us, and say, we can't
Oh
let him.
my God.
I don't want to go to jail, man.
Dude, you're
Can't
gonna
let
get
this guy
you're gonna get
gotta kill him.
demonetized for like trying to put a crime together on here. Chill.
We got to kill him, right? And then we have him tied to a chair. We have him tied him to a chair. Maybe we take some shots, poof the head, over the pillow, like we have the pillowcase over his head. So before we show who we are, and like before we show who we are, we pop him a few times. We give him an elbow and punch in the face, and then just when we like to make the sound of like I'll have a shotgun and we'll like just when he thinks he's gonna get
No,
shot.
you won't. No,
We,
you
no,
won't.
no, no. We pull the pillowcase off of him and say, surprise, it's us. And we start hugging him and say, we finally got to meet you in person, Tigo. And let's go. And we untie him and say, let's go get some pizza. And we expect
Let's go get
him,
some. I'm not going to Florida to get pizza.
we expect him to laugh with us and go. Like we think everything's okay now. Like because
All right. Why don't you just say you want to write a movie like this? That way it's in a movie script and we don't have to worry about jail time.
Doesn't it sound like one of those pot smoking movies? No, seriously, that's
It sounds like a movie like Jason Bateman and the guy from It's Always Sunny would be a part of.
Yeah. It'd be great.
But all right, crystal ball. Looking ahead at this game. You got to stop Josh Jacobs. I think with Reed and Sauce on the outside, Devontae Adams, who hasn't been very active the last 2 games, will have another game where he's not too active. I don't see Aiden O'Connell having a good game. I don't see. I see him under constant duress. I see the pass rush feasting. Or back on national television. This team's going to be fired up. The leaders on this team are going to have them ready to play. Excuse me, I get the hiccups. The thought of committing a crime has me with hiccups all of a sudden. You scared me.
I'm not. It's not. We're not going to commit a crime. We're going to joke around with our friends.
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a practical joke.
Until his ring picks it up and his wife makes a call. It's great in theory, but the execution
It's not like our joke is that we're taking one of his kids and running away and calling him 3 hours later and saying it's
no.
all.
You would just let a kid walk off anyway, as we learned earlier in the show. That was a great reaction by Dom. What? I hope Tom's wife wasn't watching. But you got to stop the run with Josh Jacobs. It's going to be hellacious pass rush on our end. Hopefully we get a lead. Hopefully there's some. I want to see a change with the play calling, the play design not being predictable. I want to see a head coach that went to the offensive coordinator and said, fix this shit and stop being so damn predictable. I want to see. I don't want to see a player's coach. I want to see a guy who's fighting for a job. Not that saying Salah's on the hot seat, but not saying Salah's on the hot seat, but when you have your job and you're going to be there long term, I think guys coach differently and they're not afraid to piss players off. Show that this is your team. Show it. Drop the hammer. Let people know what is accepted and what is not accepted as a New York Jet. If you do it in the locker room, you do it in the meetings, and it doesn't take when it comes to the field, put your goddamn foot down. Or have Ulbrich do it with the defense. Or if you don't want to do that, if you're going to delegate that, delegate it and have it get done. This team is too talented to not go into Vegas and win this goddamn game Sunday night. I'm going 16-6 Jets.
I hate you.
What?
You just went into this whole thing that made me think you were going to break loose and finally score some points, and you said 16.
That's all we need.
Uh,
Oh no, I think the defense just goes bonkers. I think the defense and over come up with the thing. Everything I talked about was on the defensive side. I think the defense is just gonna just be ridiculous. I think you're gonna look at this defense Sunday night against this Raiders team and say, "Holy shit, we got the best defense in football," and it might not be close.
I think we're going to have one of our best offensive games we've ever had because of what happened last week. I think Salah.
I said that last week about the Chargers. That's why I won't do it again.
No. I think Salah is so mad. I think they're going to be playing for their jobs like a Super Bowl. I think that they're humiliated. Right. They're on Sunday Night Football. They're humiliated. I don't think they have a choice. And I say the Jets are going to win this game 20-9. And we're going to explode on offense with 20 big points. We're going to score 2 whole touchdowns and go crazy.
The Brooklyn Nets just defeated the Los Angeles Clippers. For those of you that root for the good guys in New York and not the awful franchise in Madison Square Garden. Look at that. Down at halftime, and they outscored them by 10 in the second half to win by 7. And I saw Cam Thomas had an ankle injury too. Lonnie Walker with 21 off the bench. Who the hell are you?
Oh, my God. In a month and a half, you're going to be 12 games out of first place. Who cares?
Well, I'm enjoying while we're not.
Well, the Knicks are beating that guy, Wimbakowski. What is his name?
Yes, that's exactly who he is. He's the French Polak, Wimbakowski.
Wimbenyama. Wimbanyama.
You saying people's names wrong will never get old to me.
It looks like Brunson's having himself a nice little game to make up for his lousy game the last time. Yeah, 12 rebounds for Robinson. Randall with 14 rebounds. I'm liking it. I like what I see. Quickly, 16 points. Very nice. Hartenstein, 13. I like it. Only DiVincenzo is having a bad game, though. DiVincenzo. Okay, so you're going to talk about the Nets. I'm going to talk about the Knicks. I like the Kings also. They got a game later on today. Hopefully they'll win so me and my wife could say, light that beam. Light that beam. Okay. But anyway, I honestly think.
What are we talking about lighting the beam? Like a bowl?
No, when they win, they
I know what it is. I'm messing with you, you clown.
20-9 Jets. I can't believe I'm doing it because I'm not betting on. I'm never betting on any of the players on their player pro.
Yeah,
like,
we're going different teams. We're going different teams. Props.
You can't ever bet on
unders. We bet the unders.
You can't ever.
And that way, if we lose, that means they hit and they went over.
Yeah, I'm never betting on the Jets to do well. Not even a player. Even like nothing. I mean, it's just I'm done with that. I'm done with it. Yeah. So 20-9. We'll scrape off a couple of touchdowns, and it'll be a big deal for us. It's a great thing. 20 points right now to me. That's the equivalent of Miami scoring 50, or a real team. Like any other team scoring 50. Like for us, 20 is going to feel like 50. Because I forgot what it's like for us to just, pass to the end zone, touchdown. Like I forgot what that's like. Even I don't remember how it feels.
Can you read? Because I'm going to give you the honor of reading this name, and I think Yeti is doing this tongue in cheek or autocorrect on him. But we were discussing this the other night. Go ahead.
Right.
This is yours to read.
Well,
read it out loud. Damn it! I'll read it. I never wanted semen so much on a Sunday night. I'll admit it. I can't wait. All right, Yeti. Good for you. Get yours, man. No judgment here. It's a judgment-free zone, bro. Damn, that's the biggest autocorrect mistake that's ever happened.
That was the oddest thing ever. Okay.
Go ahead, read that. Wait. Do not read it yet. Do not read it yet. Do not read it yet. And go.
I never wanted Siemens so much on a Sunday night. I'll admit it. I can't wait. That's what she
Boom. That's going to be my ringtone on my phone from now on when you call.
New Jersey Pete, he sat with us and he had beer with us and ate with us. He watches us on the big TV and he says, I can't believe I got to hang out with those guys.
Matthias says, how are we stopping him? You don't stop Crosby. Crosby's a game wrecker. What you do is you hope that you design some chips from CJ, bought it in the backfield maybe a little bit, who a guy I've been screaming for since Rodgers went down, to help Zach and pick up a free rusher. I think
I'll tell you how you stop him. You distract
quick
him.
passes.
You distract him.
Quick passes in the slot. Get Gibson and Garrett the ball. Hey, man, you don't do that. That's super chat. You don't do that for free, you weirdo. You never expose them for free. You're not at Mardi Gras. Stop it. So I think you got to get the ball out of Zach's hands quick. Do some screens. If they go one safety high, I'm checking immediately and just throwing one up to Garrett and saying, you want to be an elite receiver in the NFL? Go make a play. That's it. That way you're not holding the ball. You're not in the pocket. You're not waiting for 15-yard in routes to develop. You have to pick the plays where the ball can get out quick. And if it's not getting out quick, rip him out of the game. Someone asked earlier, what would it take to take him out of the game? It would take a poor decision-making on Zach's part. But I think also if Hackett's leaving him back there to run 15, 18-yard routes downfield against Crosby, it's just asinine. Get the ball out quick. Get it to your playmakers. Let them get some yak. And then when they creep up to stop the run, take your shot downfield and just throw one up.
They only took Zach out in the middle of a game once, and that was when they put Strevler in. They're so stubborn. It's so weird. So I mean, I don't see that happening at all. What I'm wondering is, forget about Zach. What I'm wondering is, to me, the statement would be, and they should have done it last week in the middle of the game, and they didn't. It was really stupid. They should have pulled Lazard out of that game. Oh, if just not even for a drive, at least one drive. Pull him out for at least one drive. Just for one drive. Pull him out and say. And on the sideline, chew him out a little bit. Tell the other receivers, tell the other players, let them say, enough of this nonsense. You all better grow up, because we'll just start everybody else, because it can't get any worse. It really wouldn't have been any worse. It didn't matter. We weren't moving the ball. We could have just put anybody in. We could have put all the backups in. And I'm ready for Izzy to come in. I mean, I don't see the point right now. Michael Carter's not doing anything anyway. Just try to put a spark on this team. Bring in the kid. Give him a few carries. Let's see what he can do. I'm just done. Dalvin Cook, What a joke that was. And you didn't want Dalvin Cook, and you were so right. What a waste. We spent $7 million, $8 million on him. What a joke. He's just garbage. He's just a regular jag, man. We could have held on to Ty Johnson. We could have held on to the other kid, Bam.
We could let Izzy play. We could elevate Izzy.
Yeah. It's stupid.
We could have held on to Bam. I know Bam got a shoulder injury, and I feel bad for the kid. He had a good opportunity when Montgomery got hurt, and I think Gibbs missed a week, and then he got hurt.
Shockingly stupid.
It's a shame.
It's shockingly stupid, some of the things that we do. It's glaringly stupid. We paid $7-8 million and made this big deal out of Dalvin Cook. They admitted he wasn't ready. He'll get faster, but used him anyway. We used a draft pick on a kid. He did great. He was breaking touchdowns in camp. And then what do? We're just wasting him away and not using him. And we're cutting Bam Knight, who at least had a 100-yard game and at least looked like a decent backup. That was free. And he's as good as freaking Cook. I mean, what is it? It's a joke what they're doing at running back. I mean, it's so stupid. And why don't the press, the media, call them out on that? Because that's the stupidity. That's what I want to see them answer. I want to see them answer, what was the point of signing Dalvin Cook? How did you miss that? How did you think this guy that wasn't even in shape, wasn't ready, wasn't fast, was the better way to go. Why did you draft this kid? Was there anything this kid is he could have done in camp to win a job? Anything? You're telling me it was a fair competition? The guy put a move on the Giants defender during that game when he ran that touchdown pass. That was like elite level. Made the guy look like a moron. How do we not give him a chance? It's not like we have this great offense and we don't need to. Let's develop him for a while. We have the worst offense in the NFL, and we have a young guy who looked really good in camp, and we're not giving him a chance. And we have shit playing instead. Explain that to me. I just need to understand that.
I can't. Thank you for remembering, though, that I didn't want him. I know we're getting closer to 2-hour mark. For those that aren't already, I just dropped my channel in the chat. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be great. What?
Don't subscribe to his channel. Don't subscribe. You get all you get everything. All of Nick you could stand right here on Wednesday night. I'm just kidding. Subscribe to the Assholes channel.
What a great plug. That's like an old Howard Stern live read. It just goes off the rails immediately. Yeah, but Friday night, we're doing a Friday night hangout this week at 8:00. And we will have we came up with something. We were talking, and music came up last week for Johnny's 2 weeks ago for Johnny's Johnny Jimenez showed up. What's up, Johnny? Yeah, Harlan, you are. Thank you, pal. And thank you everyone who subscribes and watches both of our channels. And if you're not, you're missing out. Please come over. Friday night hangout is more of a laid back show. We discuss everything from the Jets. Obviously, we'll start off with the Jets, and then we'll get off topic. We'll discuss food for a while. I'm going to start coming up with pop culture things to discuss in the hangout because it's usually a longer show. Last week we went 4 hours. I'm thinking of top 5 television shows, and everybody brings to the conversation their top 5 shows of all time, not comedies or sitcoms, like drama shows, either cable TV or you can't put The Office against The Sopranos, so we'll do dramas this week. So all gas, no gas. Thank you. Yeah, guys, set your hang out. It's a fun time. It's a long show. It's a marathon. There's a lot of different people that pop in and pop out. Johnny popped in for a while, a couple weeks ago. And are you available Friday? I give you first option as always.
Give me a day. Give me a day.
All right. I'll give you 2. How about that?
Because I was away, so.
What?
Yeah.
What? Johnny, guys, I have to tell you something. Remember that night you sang? Well, the wifey is preggo, kid number 3 on the way. Is she really pregnant?
Really? Wow.
Is she really pregnant? That was 2 weeks ago.
Johnny, you little devil, you. I love it. Look at you making babies. Gucci.
It did. Thank you for remembering. The Maryland impression worked. So listen, I'm going to start a cameo for Jets fans. If you want to get some boom boom at home, just come to me. Come on Wednesday night. Come on the Friday night hangout. She is pregnant. Congratulations. God bless to both of you. May the baby be a healthy, strong, confident Jet fan who will resist candy from somebody in a Josh Allen jersey.
May it be a
awesome.
healthy. May it be a healthy.
Wait.
May
His next comment.
Baby.
His next comment. She's so mad at me.
He knocked her up.
Oh, congrats, Johnny. All seriousness, congratulations. And I hope
May it be a healthy baby.
May it be a healthy baby.
May it drink lots of good apple juice. Let it be a cute baby. Let it be a happy baby. Let it be healthy. And to that we say, Mazel Tov.
So on the Friday night hangout, Johnny's wife was in the background and chiming in with some things. And Oh man, I'm doing a Friday night hangout every week because we're gonna document the mood swings of Johnny's wife as it goes. Like we're gonna document the pregnancy of, oh, this was a good week, this was a bad week, this was a great week, this was, oh no, we were all scared.
With that said, everybody, take care. Have a good one. We are out of here. We love you. We'll see you next week. And we'll see you before that on Nick's show. So remember Friday night, but we also sometimes pop up during the day. You never know when we're going to pop up and do a special daytime show. Sometimes Nick calls me up and he goes, "You want to go on?" And I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "Okay, let me set up."
Yeah.
But
Well, Monday 12 will be a Victory Monday show. And before we go, I just want to remind everyone of one thing.
So much on a Sunday night. I can't wait.
And now, welcome to Pride and Chaos.
Welcome to the darkest year of our adventures.
You son of a bitch!
Oh, yeah!
You son of a bitch!
I never wanted.
God bless America and God bless Israel.
And now, give it up for Jeremy and Nick.
Now you scared me.